if I find someone attractive and someone is not attractive next to them, but in clown getup, I would probably go after the clown.
Welcome back to Other People's Lives. I'm Joe Santagato.
I'm Greg Dybec.
Just want to give a quick shout out to all of our patrons out there on patreon.com/OPL show. If you sign up for our Patreon, you get bonus episodes and you get a nice behind the scenes look at how we vet our guests and how we pre-plan all of our episodes, like going into it, what kind of conversations we're having. So yeah, go check out our Patreon.
Yes, today we are speaking to a woman who reached out saying that she has clownphilia. We had no idea what that meant, never heard the term before. Another term for it is clownphilia, and it's essentially, I guess, just a fetish for clowns. But we have the guest on the line today, so thank you for being on.
Yeah, no problem. It's pretty much a fetish for clowns. I'd say that's accurate.
Okay, good. Can you, I guess, explain in a little more detail then, what it is, and kind of what it means for you specifically?
Okay, so, well, clownphilia is the sexual attraction to clowns. And for me personally, I'm sure it's a question of like, what's so attractive about clowns is because everybody always thinks they're so scary. But for me, it's like something physically, it's about the baggy clothes and the fun colors. And I love the makeup. I find the makeup very attractive, especially like put the process of putting it on. Otherwise, I love the like coming up routines. Like it's called clowning is the not fetish side of it. So there's the dressing up part of it, the putting on the makeup, the coming up with like little routines of like balloon animals or a comedy skit, because you can look up online of clowning and it's all about like making direct eye contact, making sure the person laughs, being believable if you're doing miming, and just all of that encompassing is just very alluring to me, and it's part of my daily life, honestly.
So your daily life, how is it part of your daily life?
Because, well, I'm gonna, this is more of a side project, but I was going to be starting up clowns clownphilia OnlyFans for a little following that I have, and so that's going to become part of my daily life. I put on makeup daily just to have me time. Like instead of putting mud masks on, I put on clown makeup. I collect clown figurines. I draw clowns because I'm a freelance artist. So it's very much so just
It's a full clown takeover. It's a full clown takeover. And I think it's actually interesting because I honestly thought that, like, I mean, from what you're describing, it doesn't sound like it even needs to be purposefully in a sexual manner where it's like, oh, when we're like me and like a partner are having like a sexual experience, that's when, the clown stuff kind of becomes attractive to me. It sounds like if you just saw a clown on the street, you'd be like, that's nice. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And the fact that you're like, so seriously, every single day you find time to put on clown makeup, even if you're just completely by yourself?
It's usually at night. It's part of my nightly routine, actually. And like, I'll take pictures, which is why I wanted to go into the OnlyFans things. And yeah, it's a little bit part of my everyday routine.
Interesting. Because it's every aspect of a clown. Like you just said, balloon animals, and kind of like Joe said, it's like, it's not just, okay, it's sex time, like bring out the clown outfit. It's just, you're kind of fitting it into like every part of your life, and you appreciate everything a clown would traditionally do.
Absolutely. And so it's really become part of just every aspect of myself as well, because even on dating websites, I'll be like, hey, I'm into this. Hope you don't think that's kind of weird. And half the time they think it's kind of weird, but then they see my clown collection for the ones that don't, and then they think that's kind of weird. And so it's kind of difficult to find people who are also into this, I will say.
So, when it comes to like the sexual aspect of this, is that something that you would like need in a partner, that they need to be down with like the face paint and like everything?
Down to clown?
Down
Yeah.
to clown. Yeah. I was going to use that term, but I didn't know if that was like the right way to say it, but I'm glad you did first.
I wouldn't say it's necessary, but it would be a real good plus. As long as they let me dress up and feel sexy when I dress up, then that's all that I need.
Right. And that was actually going to be my next question. Is it mostly a turn on, like, is it more of a turn on if like your partner does it or if you do it?
I would say for me it's equal. I particularly do like being dressed up and oogled at, where I like my partner to be more of the, you have a little act for me and I get to like play along or whatever. It's more, I guess the appearance of it is mine, and then the what's the
Showmanship, I guess.
tip is my partner. Yes.
I guess that is just such a big part of being a clown. Like it's just all performance based. It's like you're really stepping into a character, I guess, with like a really specific skill set of things, balloon animals, being funny, making people laugh, physical comedy. But, for something like this, do you remember when you first sort of discovered like, oh, okay, I think I feel differently about clowns than the average person might?
I was definitely questioning it for many, many years. I've actually only just now confirmed for myself that like the past 2 years I've been calling myself like a clown fetish. I found it weird that people thought they were scary. In in high school, I would always dress up as them for Halloween, and I would obsessively talk about them during the Halloween time because people thought they were scary. And then in college is when I really dabbled in like, well, no, this really makes me feel like kind of good. And like when I look at other clowns, I'm like, hey, that's a good looking clown. So it's just developed over time of the accepting of it.
Okay. And when did, I guess, that kind of turn into understanding that there's a true sexual aspect, too? And maybe you can kind of dive a little more into that, because like we said, it doesn't seem like it's not just always sex acts that the clown comes out, I guess you could say, but when it is like sexual, what does that mean for you? Is that dressing up during sex? Is that having partners dress up? Like, what does that version of the clown fetish look like?
Well, I'll go through a little bit of, because I have had one experience with another guy that was into clowning, and so I do have a little experience with it. So go through that story. Um, so we met on Tinder, and he came out. He's like, "Hey, I'm into clowning." I'm like, "That's fucking dope. Let's meet up." And so it started with, well, we were just talking about it, and we just excited to see another person that was into it. And then, as things start working up, we're flirting with each other. We're like, let's put on some makeup, and we do each other's makeup. That's a whole process of its own. Of like, there's a lot of eye contact with that. It's very intimate, and if depending on if you use brushes or fingers, that can add another level of intimacy. After that, he was actually he's more into clowning than I was, and I wasn't prepared to bring costumes and everything, but he let me use some of his costumes, and we dressed up, and it's just, remembering it's just so fun. Like, I would love to do it again, because afterwards, during all this time we're flirting with each other as well. It's like helping each other get dressed up. He put the big shoes on. It's like, oh, you know what they say about guys with big feet. Like, it's all about the joking and everything. So we're joking around, we're flirting and everything, and he has balloon animals. I'm like, well, I'm pretty good at balloon animals, and so I did a couple balloon animals for him, and he is applauding me and giving me the praise and everything. Like, can you do this? Can you do that? And we end up playing with balloon swords and everything. And then he's like, okay, I have an act that I've been doing, and he he's really into pieing, which I can see the aspect of it. Like, I think I could get into that, but he was into it much more than I was, because I was still just getting into the clowning with others kind of aspect of it when we met up. And so his thing ended up with him. He has his whole skit of like making the pies, doing miming and everything. And then at the end, he would present me the pie, and I'm supposed to put it in his face, and like we get all messy and everything. And from once you get dirty and with the pies, it kind of just leads on from there.
Wow. So this is like a full-on clown show. Like
Yeah.
that. So you're like sitting down and you're sort of just watching this guy do his act, basically.
Yeah, he had music and everything. It's like
Music.
yeah.
Wow. So there's music. So this is a legitimate like
It's like clowning. You like put the whole personality on.
So it's basically like foreplay, but it's like wow. And then
and this is turning you on the way, I don't know, like someone doing a strip tease or something might turn someone else on, like putting on the shoes, getting a pie ready. Like this is getting you hot and bothered.
Yeah, actually, I would actually admit that a striptease wouldn't do the same for me as getting clowned up and everything.
Wow.
So this is going to be a weird not a weird question, but it's just an interesting question. Would you say that you are more attracted to someone in a clown outfit than their like naked body?
Absolutely.
That's very interesting. So in a way, so you try, so not to get like too graphic here, but is it like you try to keep the clown, so the clown makeup, I am assuming it stays on the entire time, and do you guys kind of try to keep, the act up the entire time? Like, are you talking in clown voices is my point.
No, we're not doing like, hey, that feels, no, we're not doing
That was pretty good.
No, we're not doing like that, like while we're having sex or anything. It's at that point, it's more of we have the makeup on, and then for me, I like getting my makeup smeared. I like having the wig pulled off and like the undressing of it while still having makeup on. I do enjoy that aspect of it, but if we were just to have full on like clown get up, fully clothed sex, that would be like top tier. I would love that.
Wow.
Man, that's a sex scene. Like, to watch that play out is,
it's a legitimate like production, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like,
I 10 out of 10 recommend clowning to anyone who's interested. Just even Googling it.
just clowning,
for sure. Yeah.
Because it just sounds like, I mean, as someone who doesn't have this attraction to like clowns at all, it's just so interesting to me that, like the mindset. And that's why I asked the question of like, do you find someone who's like in a clown outfit more attractive than if they were naked? And it's just so interesting that you're like, yeah, 100%. And like, there's a legitimate like show beforehand, and then it kind of leads to, all this stuff. And I actually think, like, really thinking about it now, if there was something that I was really into like that, I feel like that would be the perfect time to do it. It would be like right before about to have sex, like indulge in this thing that you both love and like put some work into, have this little show, and then it kind of leads into a sexual kind of experience. Like, that just sounds like a full night of fun, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, it was really great. Like, unfortunately it didn't work out between us, but like that day was one of my best experiences.
Good clown, bad boyfriend.
And you like really earn the sex, like you earn the climax, like you put in so much work before. You know what I mean? Foreplay could be so lazy for some people, but this is like damn, like you really are putting in work for
Yeah.
the reward that you get. I mean, I guess the whole thing is the reward essentially, but it's wow. I'm so neutral on clowns. Like it's bizarre to me sometimes how clowns are so polarizing in either direction. Like people are either terrified, like if they see a clown, they like have to cross the street and like close their eyes, or in this case, which I've never really heard about, you know, to have a fetish and have clowns be sexualized and so loved and enjoyed. But I just like, if I were to see a clown, I feel nothing, you know. I don't know if that's the average person, but it's, yeah, I don't know. People like really respond to clowns in some interesting ways.
I also feel that way. I'm very indifferent when it comes to clowns. Like I don't have like a phobia. I'm not afraid, but I'm also not like super attracted to it, nor did I ever in my life feel like I wanted to be entertained by a clown. But I think there is something to be said for the fact that it was like clearly attractive to people, and it was like a spectacle, and it was something that people enjoyed, and they would hire them for birthday parties and, you know, like the circus or whatever. It was like there is a legitimate sort of like attraction that people have towards clowns.
Mm-hmm. I respect the clown. I'll say that. It's an interesting profession. People who like clown all the way, like full-time job clowns, you know?
I would honestly, I've thought about actually going into like, because they do still have clown colleges and everything.
Wow.
Do you know what goes on there? Like, what do they teach you to do?
I haven't gone myself, but I do hear that it's more of a theater kind of base, which makes sense because they're going to be putting on acts and everything. But no, a little bit of the history of clowning is that they were actually, clowns came from over characterized drunks, and that's why they have like the sloppy motions and the big red nose, and the makeup wasn't always to like put a happy smile on it. Was just to make them look dirty and like hobo-ish.
Interesting. Okay. So if you were to take this like a step further with the OnlyFans, like you said, would that be like a kind of sexual channel for you? Like, would the idea be that you kind of dress up and put on shows, and people who are sexually attracted to clowns would kind of like follow you and pay you for that?
That's kind of the goal of in the future. I was going to start out with just doing the makeups and routines, and then see what kind of following there would be to actually make it sexual or anything like that. Because out of the 20, I was about to say my 28 years of life, I've only met the one other person that's into the clowning. And like there's forums and everything, but everybody's so far apart. I don't know what kind of audience there'd even be.
You know, I do feel like, you know, when it comes to, at least in my experience, like doing this show, like the more sort of unique the kink or fetish is, I feel like the stronger their like audience there is. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we've heard of like everything. I mean, we haven't. We keep learning about new things, this being one of them, obviously. But, you know, every time we hear about something, it's like, wow, okay. And, like, there's literally conventions where people are flying to Vegas by the thousands to meet up, and it's something I've never heard of before. So I do think that, you know, if there's any sort of concern of, like, you don't know what the market is, like, I'm pretty sure it's there. And, you know, especially because if it is super rare, then there's only one place to really go get it, which would be your page, you know?
Yeah, right. If you build it, they will come. They will clown. Yeah, but is there like, do you have preferences? Like, can anyone just come in with a clown costume and like get you and like turn you on? Or could someone like give a really shitty performance and be like bad at like balloon animals and it wouldn't turn you on? Like, do they actually have to be good at clowning?
Oh yeah, there has to be effort put in for sure. Like your makeup can't be half-assed. You have to have some sort of color and mismatching, or you have to have some kind of theme going on with your outfit. You can't just put on a dirty shirt and rip jeans. Like, I'm not gonna think you're an actual hobo clown if you're not going to put in the effort for it.
That's great.
No, for sure.
I love that it turns into like American Idol, and it's like, no, dude, like just come back when you're better, I guess.
Yeah. Right. So I'm always curious with, kinks like this and, as you kind of continue to explore it, how open are you about this with, maybe a close group of friends or family? Like, do you talk about this? Do they know that, tonight you're going to be sitting in your room putting clown makeup on, or is this a complete secret that only you know about? And now us.
I wouldn't say it's a complete secret. My family doesn't know that it goes as far as like being sexual about it. They do know I really like clowns and that I collect the dolls of clowns. But they don't know like how far it actually goes. They don't know that I'm like dressing up at my house and putting on little shows for myself in the mirror or anything like that. My best friend knows. She actually knows that I'm going to be on this, and hopefully she won't make fun of me for because I haven't told her the story of the guy. And but yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot what the question was. I just started rambling.
No, you answered it. Just, how many people you kind of talk openly about, this, the fetish that you have. So, but that's exciting to hear. I love when people say that they have someone they know that's going to listen to this show, and that's going to be like their kind of first time hearing the full story and kind of learn about you. So definitely let us know how that goes. Because that's super interesting.
I actually had a question. So if, obviously everyone has preference of like physical preference of what they want their partner to look like or whatever. Like could you be attracted to someone who physically you'd be like, they're okay, I'm not really into it, but they're like amazing at clowning, and you're like, well, this changes everything?
Oh, I could absolutely see that happening.
Could it happen with someone you're not physically attracted to, but they're just amazing at being a clown? You're like, oh my God.
I would say that it could be a friends with benefits thing, but I would probably only do the benefits if they actually had the clown gear on.
That's interesting.
So I'm physically attracted to them. Yeah.
Wow. So this clown thing is just like
it's up there.
Yeah, it's like the end all be all. Honestly, it's like if you're
a lifestyle, man. This is
I honestly did not expect this at all, because I feel like I have heard of this before, like in the past, like briefly, of someone being into it, of like the makeup aspect of it, but only really in the moment. Like I didn't know that this was, that this particular conversation would kind of, spill into like every aspect of your life, basically. You know what I mean? So I find it very interesting that it's like I said before, it's a complete clown takeover, and you're just completely indulging in, this whole clown thing. Would you say that it's, I mean, this might be a stupid question at this point to ask, but is it your like favorite thing in the world? Like, is it like exactly what makes you happy? Or like, what is your dream sort of job, or like your pinnacle of this whole thing?
I wouldn't say that this is like the end all be all of my life. Like it's definitely a passion of mine. But there's a lot of other weird things about me that have just as much passion behind them. So this is definitely just one of a bunch of things that I've fallen into and developed into being part of my life. But I'm sorry, what was the second question?
No, I mean, you just kind of answered it. I mean, yeah, like the end all be all. I was kind of like being funny and saying like, when it comes to physical attraction and partners, it's like if you're just good at clowning, this is kind of going to trump everything else. But yeah, so that's kind of like, what I meant by, that. But I also was wondering if there was ever a point in your life where you felt like, oh, this is kind of weird, like I shouldn't do this, or was it always like, this is fucking cool, I'm rolling with this?
No, I was definitely embarrassed about it for a little bit. It took me a while to be able to meet up with that guy even and show that part of me, even though I had been doing it in private for years. But as for the whole clowning thing, like physically wise, I think I'm not sure what it is, but I would definitely say if I find someone attractive and someone is not attractive next to them, but in clown getup, I would probably go after the clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like still wrap my head around, you know, all of the clown things you do. So like, not to be too intrusive, but you know, tonight after this call, like you will put clown makeup on and you'll, like you said, like put a show on for yourself. Is when you do that, is that sexual? Like, is that like masturbation in a sense for you? Is that like are you getting in the mood with yourself, or can it strictly just be like, I'm going to practice walking in big shoes or making balloon animals in front of the mirror today, and there's not a sexual aspect to it?
Oh, it could definitely be both. A lot of the time it's more so me just winding down for the night. Like I said, instead of it being a mud mask, it's face paint. So a lot of it is just me like having me time, learning my balloon animal tricks, watching other people do clowning online, putting my face makeup on in the mirror, all that kind of stuff is more of a winding down. But it's usually during the day that if I'm feeling kinky, that I'll start putting it on. I'll put up the whole dress. Like I have outfits that I'll put together and then I'll take my pictures. I'll put on my little show for myself and, you know, like go down the whole road of pleasing myself afterwards, I suppose.
How many clown outfits do you have?
It's a little hard to say because a lot of it is bits and pieces you can match into different kinds of outfits. I have 5 onesies, but the miss and match pieces, I can make at least like 25 outfits if I were to piece them all together in different ways.
Wow. What about like I'm trying to think of mainstream clowns, like Stephen King's It. Like, is that like porn for you, or like is that just like, are you not into that?
No, I love I actually have a tattoo of the loser lover from the newest It movie. And no, the Tim Curry It, he's like
classic.
Top-tier, just daddy clown material.
Really? That one?
I adore him so much. He could get it.
Oh
so
my
okay,
God.
With that said, is like, what's you know, for you, like, what's the biggest turn on of a clown, like that makes one clown stand out more than another? What's like your perfect clown?
Perfect clown would be actual Tim Curry in his It makeup. But second tier would be a guy with, you know, his own design of a makeup, nothing too like kid friendly, if you know what I mean by saying that. Nothing too kid friendly, but like it's well done with clean lines. His outfit, I prefer a baggy pant, tight t-shirt kind of look. Suspenders would be good. Big shoes. I would like to have his nails done, or if he's wearing gloves or something. And I really like clown horn. So if he had a clown horn, that'd be great.
Clown?
What's a clown horn?
Like a trumpet sort of horn?
Like the
Oh, yeah, like a bike horn sort of.
Right. Okay. Well, that detailed response just really shows how much you've thought and considered this. And yeah, it's been really eye-opening. You know, I think me and Joe, I think we came into this expecting just something as simple as like a role play type of fetish. Like, you know, hey, I like when my partner dresses up like a teacher or a fireman or something. And we thought like maybe clown would just take place of what that thing is. But man, this is a lifestyle. This is something that's really cool to hear about because of how into it, you know, you are, and how many details of this, you know, go into what attracts you to it. And it's really cool. It also makes me like really just respect clowns for like all that they can do. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but like it's such an interesting type of performance art. And like for someone to pursue that, and for the sake of like making people happy through these specific clown ways. Like it's cool. It's definitely cool.
No, definitely. I absolutely agree with that. And I say to support your local clowns if there's any that will do birthday parties. Some of them have some really good like skits that they put together, and they put a lot of work into them. So I definitely recommend hiring if anyone's ever actually interested.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm definitely gonna go down like a rabbit hole on YouTube of clowns, because like now I want to see what are clowns capable of. Like what are clowns in like 2020, 2021? Like what are they doing? Have they evolved at all? Because like most of our assumptions are probably just like stereotypes that, okay, sure, part of being a clown is like hitting those stereotypes, but yeah, I'm sure there's some like really talented clowns out there.
Oh, definitely. My favorite type of clowns are mimes that don't dress like mimes.
Interesting.
They'll do an entire skit of invisible objects and mime stuff, but some of them are also gymnasts, so they'll be able to do like these crazy poses of like wind or picking up something heavy and falling or something like that. It's really crazy.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. I think before we wrap up, we like guests like yourself who are so willing to be open about this and share this information with us. Like Joe said, we keep learning from the show. No matter what we talk about, it seems like other people kind of pop up or send us an email and say like, wow, thanks for doing that, I'm into this as well. So for anyone listening who might have a clown fetish or potentially be interested in kind of exploring this clown path, do you have anything to say to them?
I don't know. I say pursue it if it interests you. Embarrassment was something that held me back a lot. And now that I'm over it and actually accept that I'm, like something that's a little out of the norm, I'm completely happy doing it though. And you can't let people thinking something's weird stop you from doing something you enjoy. So that's something I would have said to myself back then.
Hell yeah, I think that's very well said. We talk about it all the time whenever we have episodes like this where people indulge in something very unique, and that always seems to be the underlying thing where it's like, just fucking do it. If it makes you happy and like you're not hurting anybody, like just go after it. Don't be embarrassed. Like enjoy your life,
Exactly.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate you coming on and talking to us and kind of sharing this with us. It sounds like you don't tell too many people, especially as much details as you gave us. So we appreciate that, and thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you guys got back to me to share this story.
Of course.
Absolutely. And keep in touch as well. We're curious. If you meet another clown, we definitely want to hear about it.
Okay, I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, sort of down to clown a little, kind of, but not like full on clown. But I'm listen, I'm not down to clown as far as like that, definition by it. But I think that I have a new sort of like, I haven't even thought about clowns in like 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're just not as popular anymore. Like in the 90s, like everyone had clowns at their parties. Like people don't do that anymore, I don't think.
I don't think so. But
they kind of faded.
I think. But I don't know. We were also like little kids that like would be more exposed to clowns being present, so it might just feel like it faded.
That's true.
Because
but also like you've been to but I mean I've been to parties for kids, like little baby cousins.
I haven't seen
shit.
a clown. I haven't seen a clown around in a while.
Yeah, but one thing I will say is that like this is different, I think, than any other like fetish or kink episode that we've done, because this is like a full on clown takeover. I keep saying it, but it really is. It's like it's about everything. It's like incorporated into her job, her day to day. It's part of her winding down moments of her life. It's part of her sexual experiences. It's like all over the place, baby.
It's similar, when we did the blood play episode, there's a similar aspect where I think for the blood play woman, it was sexual. It was like very sexually charged, like a lot of the time.
Right.
But even her, like to wind down some days, she would like sit in a bathtub with like even fake blood if she could get it, and it's just like, it reminded me of that. Like, it's so cool knowing that this guest, it's pretty late now, like at some point within the next few hours, like I'm gonna be thinking, oh, she's probably in a clown outfit right now. Yeah, she's painting her face, she's winding down, she's doing whatever in the mirror. Like that's real commitment.
Like I'm just trying to like think of because like for me it's like, you know what I'm saying, you get nice warm lighting, you put on comfy PJs, and you know, you fucking light a candle and you just sit on the couch and you watch some TV, you winding down. But for her, it's like a completely different thing. It's like maybe I'm watching TV, but I'm painting my face, and now I could let out that relaxing exhale when I finish my face paint. And she's like, just fucking clowning. Just
but that sex sounds fun, because I'm trying to think of what would replace clowning for me, because it's like from start to finish, however long it lasts, from like start the foreplay to whenever the sex ends, like that whole time is just such a good time. And like, don't get me wrong, sex is always a good time, but it's like, what if the person, like, what if, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like it's like playing like a game of basketball to 21 and then having sex.
I was literally just fucking thinking that. My mind went right to basketball. Which is so
something like I would enjoy.
It's so like typical like fucking straight dude.
Yeah, we're idiots.
Fucking thoughts, but like you know what it is. We just don't. At least I mean I'm not gonna speak for you. I don't think that I have anything like that. But it's like if you were into role play and you had some sort of like teacher fetish or some shit, like it would make sense. Like the idea behind it is like, that sounds great. And that's why I said what I said. Not necessarily like for me, my opinion, like the whole clowning thing doesn't sound great to me, because like I'm just not into that. But if there was a thing that I liked like that we both could like indulge in, and it's like a precursor to the precursor, you know what I'm saying? Like leading up to the lead up and then getting to it, it's like, bro, that's edging, basically.
Right. No,
you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
just, that's just a good time.
If you both like loved basketball and like you were playing and like it got sweaty and like UTIs weren't a thing, and you were just like, you know what I'm saying? And then like, and you also BO wasn't a thing, and like you're just like sweaty playing ball, and like you finish the game and it's like, bang, right there on the court, but the court's comfy.
Yeah, I'm going to feel weird next time I play basketball with you, but
hell yeah.
I think that's the closest analogy I could think of, but it's like, it's just, you know, you must walk out of that room when it's all said and done, like when you walk out of a movie theater after seeing like a crazy movie, you know, like it's not just like a quickie, it's like, damn, I went through something.
I put on a show.
Cool. Yeah.
It's like being in the Blue Man Group with sex at the end. Because it's a performance, and it's like there's paint, and a show. In a way, there's an audience even.
If you were at a Blue Man concert and then they finished you off before you left, that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
So, but no, hey, really cool. I love when it's way more than we expect, and you know, it might sound cliche at this point, but she said at the end, like, just don't let the idea of being perceived as weird, you know, stop you from exploring something you enjoy. I'm paraphrasing, but you know, and it's just like, it just makes you think, like, everyone's weird. Everyone is just weird. They have something that makes them weird. And if you're not, it's just because you're hiding it, or you're fucking boring because like there's nothing that would make you weird in someone else's eyes. But like,
then you're not unique. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
right? Like everyone's weird. It's just if you're open about the thing that, you know, might make you weird or not. So, cool. I learned a lot. I'm dead serious. I'm gonna search a ton of clown videos and see what's up.
I'm a big mime guy, by the way. Like I'm not big on clowns, but miming,
that's a crazy skill.
Hell yeah.
That's sick. Mime should, they should get more credit.
I love watching it because it's also like, I'm a big fan of magic too. And in a way, to me, it's sort of like magic, because it's like, dude, this guy, how can he have his body make it look like he's pulling something that's 1,000 pounds and be so good at it? He's digging his heels into the floor and he's not moving. Like, how? Like, it's like it's like a magic trick for me. So I'm into miming. So maybe I'm you know, there's a time to mime, but I'm not down to clown. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. That could be it. That could be your introduction into the world.
Hey, listen, man.
You just mime sex the whole time, but don't actually do it.
No one says a word. But
well,
yeah,
cool.
I would love that episode. It was a lot of fun. Anyone out there, if you want to write into the show, you want to be on it, send us an email, oplshow.com. Go to the contact button, click on that, send us an email, and we'll get back to you if we think it fits for the show.
Follow us on Instagram at OPL Podcast. Check out the video clips that we put out there. Leave a rating and review on iTunes, a comment on YouTube, subscribe, all that good stuff. But that's all we got for you this week.
Yep, that is all. See you guys next time.